Peace, family. How you doing? It's Mr. R2 here at Consistency is Currency, your morning podcast of choice. It's the weekend. Some of y'all are at work, plenty of you are not. But I want to tap into the conscious individual, those who understand that in order for you to get somewhere, you have to, one, remember where you came from. You have to, two, understand where you're going. You have to, three, acknowledge the process that it's going to take for you to get there, but put yourself in that space mentally to understand that it's going to take work. It's going to take will. It's going to take know-how. It's going to take must. It's going to take perseverance. It's going to take passion. And it's going to take all of those things in a combination in order for you to accomplish that particular goal that you have set for yourself. Um, it's not always easy. I mean, honestly, it's not. And because it's not easy, that means you have to actually deliver constantly. And you have to want to do it for yourself even more than what other people are hoping that you accomplish that particular dream. So, again, like always, we want to start in gratitude. We want to say thank you for being here. You can be anywhere right now. You can be asleep. You could be asleep. It's early. Some of y'all are saying, oh, I don't have to go to work, so I'm not getting up early in the morning. That's not my concern. My concern is providing you with a message, something that can actually help you out and put yourself in a position. Why? Because today is Monday, May the 30th. It is the last few days of May to where we're going into the 6th month of the year. Yes, we've made it to half of the year and it went by real fast, for a lot of us. It's like, man, we just said Happy New Year, or we just said, Black History Month, or we just said happy birthday, whatever it is. We are now at the 6th month of the year. We are halfway through the 365 days of the year as according to the 12 months. So thank you. And I appreciate you forever and a day. So we're going to jump into what we're going to be communicating about today is comfort has consequences. Peace. Good morning, Miss Selena. Comfort has consequences. So my question to you is, how do you see this? How does comfort have consequences? Peace. Good morning, Ma. How does comfort have consequences? That's a question. That's an open dialogue question. I want to learn from you today. So I want interaction. I want to hear how you hear, because I'm just going to put it out there. My first meeting is at 1:00. So we're going to dig in this one today, because this may have affected a lot of people process, and it could have destroyed a lot of people's forward motion or forward movement. So it is an open question on how do you see comfort having a consequence? Because when we really jump into the 4 things that I want you to pay attention to, you're going to either be, okay, yeah, that's me. Okay, yes, I remember that. Or I'm in that space right now and I'm trying to get out of it. And I'm allowing myself to learn more about me in order for me to actually accomplish that particular goal, task, or even just to go in the right direction or have a sense of going in the right direction. How do you see comfort having a consequence? That is the open question of today. So let's go ahead and take this deep dive. So for those that know the platform, you already know we go through the definition. We'll flip the definition back and forth, and we'll go through the etymology of the definition as well. But for this one, it was kind of, I'm not going to say hard, but I will say the definition spoke for itself. It really did. That I really couldn't invert it at all. So again, how do you see comfort having a particular consequence? So the definition of consequences says a conclusion derived through logic. It is a conclusion derived through logic. So if it is a conclusion that arrived through logic, that means you have to look at it for what it is. It's not something that is made up. It's not something that someone have pushed on you. It's not made of something that just appeared out of nowhere. Logically, it have derived from something. Your comfort zone have derived from something. It came from somewhere. But you have to understand that the conclusion is only going to be when you look at it from a logical standpoint. So if comfort has consequences, then what are the consequences of you being comfortable? So going through the etymology of the word consequence, it kind of opened up a little bit more doors and how to visualize how comfort has its consequence, because the Latin term from consequence from the etymology is consequenta. If I said it wrong, cool. If I didn't, cool too. But it is said that it is the logical interference, conclusion, that which follows from or grow out of any act or course. Being so comfortable will actually put you in a position to where you have to begin to course correct because you stayed stagnant for a long time. I don't want to dive too deep because that's further in line of what we're communicating about. But when you're in a position of stagnation, when you are no longer allowing yourself to continue to learn or allowing yourself to continue to grow, you no longer begin or to continue the process of growth. You begin to interfere with your gifts. You begin to interfere with some of the things that you know that you need to do, but you don't do it for whatever logical reason, whether it is fear, whether it is doubt, whatever it is. That's when we're talking about understanding that there is a consequence when it comes to you being too comfortable, just too comfortable. So we're going to take this real quick deep dive. All of us know and understand, we know what the word comfortable is. So don't get it twisted where you say, well, I'm cool being comfortable. Okay, but we should all be comfortable, shouldn't we? I mean, the logical answer to that is yes. I mean, it's obvious that we want to have a level of comfort in our life. I mean, it only makes sense that we want to have some level of comfort, but however, comfort most often goes hand in hand with stagnation. That's the type of comfort we're talking about. That's the type of being comfortable we're talking about. Comfortable goes hand in hand with stagnation in whatever your goals may be, in whatever vision that you may have had, in whatever direction that you are going or growing into. There is some stagnation that have taken place. And also being comfortable means that you have, or you may feel like you've accomplished this thing, so it's no longer necessary for you to have interest or even pursue certain goals or certain self-improvements. I mean, again, now let's go back, because remember, it is a logical interference. So because it is a logical interference, you have to look at it and say, okay, if this comfort or this comfortable comfort zone that I'm in, what are the consequences of me staying in this comfort zone? That's when you start to ask yourself, that's when you begin to sit down and begin to create the logical approach to why you haven't finished this particular thing or why you haven't started this thing, is because you got so comfortable with it. You got so comfortable in your relationship that the consequence of the relationship is weighing heavy on you, because there was stagnant in the growth. You stop with the date nights, you stop with the small texts, you stop with the conversations, because now in that process, you no longer feel like you need to do certain things. So when we're looking at the level of comfort, you have to understand that there is some intentions that you have to look at, or the daily motions that you take, or the lifestyle, or the weight loss, or the weight gain, or the generational wealth, or the personal or professional goals that can begin to be the consequence of the level of comfort or the comfort zone that you're staying in. So what's the first thing you want to talk about, Mr. R2? We want to talk about the consequence of you staying in that comfort zone is you may stop pushing yourself. How many of us have ever been in this position? How many of us have ever had these conversations with ourselves? How many of us have ever saw or we've known someone to be so comfortable in that thing? Whatever that thing is, that's that thing. You've been so comfortable in that thing that now you're feeling the effects of the consequences because you stop pushing yourself. Logic will tell you that you stop pushing yourself. Your mama don't have to tell you stop pushing yourself. Your daddy don't have to tell you that you stop pushing yourself. When you look at it from an honest standpoint, you know that you stop pushing yourself. Being comfortable, lying on the couch, talking to the same people, reading the same book, watching the same shows, doing the same thing every day. These are the types of things that could be preventing you from leaving your comfort zone and exploring new options and new ways to actually pursue those goals. Now, don't get me wrong. If there is a thin line or a big line between you relaxing on the couch after a long day or after you have accomplished something, don't get it twisted. Because if you want to twist this up, then that is you deflecting that comfort zone that you failed, or that comfort zone that you refuse to look at, because you want to look at it from a different perspective, but you don't want to apply logic to it. You know what being lazy on a couch really means. You know what that means, and you know what a comfort zone feel like. So don't even take that to a certain point to where you no longer understand what nobody is talking about, or this is not my. Get uncomfortable, and I guarantee you know what that feel like, because when you dealing with the consequence of being comfortable and in that comfort zone, you begin to stop thinking the consequences of being in that comfort zone. You stop thinking because you're comfortable. When you're uncomfortable, you have a lot of things on your mind, right? You're thinking about so many different things on how am I going to fix this? How am I going to do this? How am I going to make this? How am I going to create this? But when you're in that comfort zone, you feel you made it and everything is all good. What is there for you to think about? You may feel like you made it, but so therefore, because you felt like you made it, or you feel like you make it, you're stopped. There's no pursuit in you. You stop thinking. I mean, the furthest thing from your mind is a true conversation or a true thought process. I mean, you might be thinking about what type of Doritos am I going to go get when I get off of work, or what type of series am I going to watch on Netflix. You start thinking about the lamest stuff. That your goals is the furthest thing away from your mind. That your process is the furthest thing away from your mind. That calling someone and telling them, like, you know what, I could have done something different. And I just want you to know that I apologize for my actions, and I apologize for my delivery. Although I might not apologize for my content, but I know I probably could have delivered it a whole lot different. But you felt that somebody owed you something. And you in that comfort zone, that the consequence of you not being able to apologize for something may be so detrimental that that friend that you know you should have reached out to may no longer be there when it's time for you and wishing someone else was standing by your side. But you got so comfortable in that. I'm going to leave that alone. All right, so number 3 is the consequence of you staying in that comfort zone, or the consequence that you staying in that safe space for you, that you oftentimes will turn down the voice. You'll turn down that voice within. You will silence that dream. You will muzzle that bite. You no longer have that dog in you, or you no longer have that lion, that you're not going out and going to get it because you forgot how to listen to you. You've listened to everybody else, and you got so comfortable that you no longer listen to that voice inside of you. You no longer in love with the vision. You are no longer in love with the process, that you got so comfortable that you can't even hear that it's time for you to change. You refuse to listen that there is a new process that need to take over. That you fail to acknowledge that you have to, or should go into a whole nother direction because you got so comfortable. And when you get to that point, you could really begin to sabotage everything that you've worked for. Sabotage all the dreams that you had. Sabotage the love that you used to be in. Sabotage the vision that was given to you. Sabotage the gift that you have. Sabotage just having hope for yourself because you got so comfortable. Got so comfortable that you can't even say forgive me. Got so comfortable that you can't even say I love you. Got so comfortable that you even forgot what it feels like to work. Or maybe you've been given everything your whole life and you got comfortable in it. So now when you are doing things on your own, the consequences of not listening is now affecting you. Because you didn't want to listen when it was being told to you to do. And that comfort zone is getting shaky. It's getting rocky to you right now. And the consequences of you not actually learning when the process being taught to you is now affecting the actions that you take right now. I'm gonna leave that alone. But y'all be blessed. Why? Sometimes it's going to have to take that uncomfortable feeling or that uncomfortable action to change the course, to put you in line and to where you know you need to be. Only you know where you need to be. And only you can get yourself to that point. Because the only thing that anyone can ever do for you is possibly give you a recommendation. Because at the end of the recommendation, it is ultimately your responsibility to choose or to have power of choice to decide what it is that you're going to do after the recommendation is given. That is the difference between man and animal, or a plant and man. Because a tree is only going to grow, but the ballistics and everything that may happen around that tree may prevent that tree from growing. A tree can't change its mind and say, you know what, today I want to be a lion. And that tree just changes itself and it becomes a lion. Or today, I don't want to be an oak tree, I want to be a rose bush. You know what? I want to change and be a rose bush. It's not going to happen. But what you and I have is the ability to correct the things that we know that need to be corrected because we were given the opportunity of choice. As human beings, as people, we were given the opportunity to choose between what is right and to choose what is wrong, to choose to either go left or to choose to go right, to choose to grow or to choose to lay your lazy tail on that couch and do nothing about what it is that you know you should be doing. It is your choice. But what are you going to do when the option is yours to choose? That is the great thing about life. Every day that you have the ability to breathe again from a previous day and you're in this present right now, you have the choice and the power to change your course to put you in line with what it is that you are about to do or where it is that you are about to go. That's your choice. Comfort has consequences. But like the definition says, it is logic. Look at what it is that you know you need to change. Look at the logical standpoint that you're in right now. And when you understand and you acknowledge that I have been operating in this space and I have been so comfortable in this space, it's just like for those that have been gardeners or whoever planted whatever, you're going to have to prune some things in order for growth to take place. Or you might feel like you've outgrown this flower pot. So now it's time for you to take yourself out of that little pot and put yourself in a much bigger pot because you still have room to grow. You still have the ability to be blessed. You still have the ability to laugh. You still have the ability to smile. Your smile isn't over because today is another day that you can smile again. There's someone that didn't make it to this day to smile. They got so comfortable and they did whatever it was that they were doing. And they have succumbed to the consequence of it. But y'all be blessed. I see you tomorrow here 7:30 at Consistency is Currency, your morning podcast of choice. Y'all be blessed. Peace.